Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today in our Trabaho Negosyo Kabuhayan series, Doing Business in Hong Kong 1.0. So today we're going to be joined by our distinguished guests from the Hong Kong SAR government. So for us, before we begin, of course, I would like to introduce first the individual who will be giving our opening remarks. So he is a career diplomat who passed the Foreign Service Officers Examination in 1995. He joined the Philippine Foreign Service in 1996 and is a lawyer by profession. So Consul General Raly Tejada held executive positions in the Home Office, such as Special Assistant to the Undersecretary for Policy from 2007 to 2009 as Director of Treaties Division, Office of Legal Affairs from June to October 2007, and as Special Assistant to the Undersecretary for International Economic Relations from 1996 to 2001. He served overseas as a Deputy Consul General at the Philippine Consulate General in Vancouver, BC, Canada, as First Secretary at the Philippine Mission to the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, and as Vice Consul at the Philippine Consulate General in Hong Kong SAR. Consul General Raly Tejada is the seventh Consul General assigned to Guangzhou during 2011 to 2018. He was assigned as Consul General of the Philippine Consulate General in Hong Kong SAR from September 2019, of course. Now, I would like to call upon our Consul General, Attorney Raly Tejada.
Thank you, Bobby, for that kind introduction. I'm very happy to deliver the opening remarks to the Trabaho Negosyo Kabuhayan Series 7, Doing Business in Hong Kong 1.0. So I guess there'll be a series of seminars on this topic. But let me begin by thanking our distinguished speakers from Invest Hong Kong, namely Mr. K.C. Lam, Ms. Angelica Leung, and Ms. Cindy Wong, who all took the time, even on a Sunday, to be with us today. It is indeed an honor to learn from you. And today we will be informed about the right way of establishing and doing business in Hong Kong, which hopefully would allow us to successfully navigate Hong Kong's highly competitive business environment. Just last August, the Philippines actively participated in the Hong Kong Trade Development Council's Food Expo. And what we noticed is that many trade fairs of this sort, is that many were happy to see famous Philippine products that were featured in the Philippine booth, such as the dried mangoes, dried fish, coconut water, among other delights. And I'm happy that it raised the interest of many of our fellow Filipinos, especially the permanent residents in Hong Kong, who are now keen to start their own businesses by selling some of the famous Philippine products that they saw. So thus, our hardworking trade attaché, Bobby Mabalot, in collaboration with no less than Invest Hong Kong, organized this webinar so that our kababayans, not just here in Hong Kong, but also those in the Philippines, can learn about how to expand or just simply establish their businesses in Hong Kong. So thank you, Bobby, for this important initiative. The Philippines considers Hong Kong as an important partner, not only for market expansions to mainland China, but also for the other parts of the world, because Hong Kong can be a test market for products. In recent years, the Philippines and Hong Kong have enjoyed a stronger economic relationship. To be exact, statistics from the Philippine Statistics Office in 2020 ranked Hong Kong as the Philippines' fourth largest trading partner, just behind China, the United States, and Japan. The Philippines, on the other hand, is Hong Kong's 13th largest trading partner in 2020. With one of the fastest growing economies in the world, plus the help of the 220,000 strong Filipino community who are living and working in Hong Kong, I have no doubt that the Philippines-Hong Kong economic partnership will only grow stronger in the coming years. I am therefore delighted that many have signed up to join us in this webinar to know more about the steps and opportunities to utilize the advantage of doing business in Hong Kong. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my sincere hope that everyone watching can learn valuable insights from our distinguished experts. I'm sure that our friends from Invest Hong Kong, again, Casey, Angelica, and Cindy, are likewise eager to share their valuable knowledge and wisdom to all of us. So thank you, and mabuhay tayong lahat. Good afternoon and a pleasant day to everyone. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Consul General Raly Tejada, for giving that opening remarks for this event. So now on to our presenters for the day. So there will be 3 government officials from Invest Hong Kong would be giving us an insight as to how to do business in Hong Kong. So first and foremost, we'll be having Mr. King Chun Lam, or Mr. Casey Lam. So he is the head of Consulate and Chamber Engagement at Invest Hong Kong, the government department responsible for attracting and retaining strategic foreign direct investment in Hong Kong. The Consulate and Chamber Engagement team provides ongoing support and services to foreign business community in Hong Kong through engagement with consulates and chambers. Prior to this position, he held the environmental technology portfolio at Invest Hong Kong. Before that, he was in the private sector serving in Hong Kong's major airline in commercial and technical roles. Casey holds a bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering from Bristol University and a master's degree in manufacturing from Cranfield University. So our first speaker will be Mr. Casey Lam. Our second speaker for today would be Ms. Angelica Leong, who is the head of consumer product in Invest Hong Kong. Angelica has over a decade of experience in foreign direct investment. Her current focus is on facilitating investment from companies in retail or sourcing of toys, cosmetics, jewelry, home furnishings, fashion, electronic appliances, and most recently extending to retail technology. Since 2013, the consumer products team has assisted nearly 300 companies to set up or expand in Hong Kong. Prior to joining Invest Hong Kong, Angelica's career experience spans aviation, strategic design consultancy, and market research for fast-moving consumer goods. She holds a master's degree from the University of Hong Kong and a Bachelor of Business Administration Marketing from the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Thereafter, our last speaker will be Ms. Cindy Wong, who heads the Tourism and Hospitality in Invest Hong Kong. So Ms. Cindy Wong, basically being the head of Tourism and Hospitality of Invest Hong Kong, which is the government department responsible for attracting and facilitating foreign direct investments into Hong Kong, joined the Invest Hong Kong in September 2004 and was promoted to head of Tourism and Hospitality in 2015. Her team assists companies from food services, food and beverage trading, food tech, travel, MICE, wellness, and beauty industries globally to land on her home city of Hong Kong. Prior to joining Invest Hong Kong, Ms. Wong's career experience spans advertising and corporate communication, tourism, entertainment, and banking industries. Ms. Wong holds a bachelor's degree in arts from the University of Hong Kong and is a certified financial planner. She speaks fluent English, Mandarin, and Cantonese. She is an animal lover and enjoys bringing new dining and beauty concepts to Hong Kong, which is not only her passion for life, but mission for Hong Kong. So the recent Invest Hong Kong clients that they have are, of course, Deliveroo, Fortnum and Mason, Five Guys, Food Panda, Haidilao, Impossible Food, Informa Markets, Club Travel, Legoland, Discovery Center, QB House, Sushiru, among others. So all these three speakers that we'll be having today are experts in their different fields. So we would like to invite everyone to type in your questions, whether it's here in Zoom or via Facebook, so that your questions would be answered by the proper individuals who would be able to answer the questions that you have about doing business here in Hong Kong. Now, we'll now call on our first speaker, Mr. Casey Lam, the head of Consulate and Chamber Engagement of Invest Hong Kong.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you very much for your kind introduction. Let me share my screen, which I think is this one. There we go. Yeah. Okay, everybody can see this. Okay, my name is Casey Lam. I'm head of the Consulate and Chamber Engagement Team at Invest Hong Kong. Today, it's not working. Okay, yeah. Today I'm going to cover very briefly an introduction of Invest Hong Kong, the advantages of doing business in Hong Kong, a very brief introduction to what one country, two systems actually means, a brief talk about our vibrant business environment in Hong Kong, and finally setting up a company in Hong Kong. Hong Kong advantages include primarily our location. Hong Kong is right on the doorstep of mainland China, so we have the advantages of being inside, but also outside in mainland China. We are within 4 hours flight from all the key markets in Asia, just over an hour from Manila, actually. So we're actually very, very close to Manila, to Philippines, and we're 5 hours from half the world's population. So coverage out of Hong Kong is excellent. One country, two systems is actually a term that's been bandied around quite a lot. But what I'll do is do a very, very brief talk of what that actually means. Hong Kong enjoys a very high level of autonomy from mainland China. We are a special administrative region, an SAR, one of two, the other one being Macau. What that means is we have preferential access to China. We have our own currency, which is the Hong Kong dollar. It's very stable. It's pegged to the US dollar at $1 to 7.8 Hong Kong dollars. We have separate customs jurisdiction from mainland China. We enjoy our own autonomy in terms of setting up and establishing free trade agreements and agreements with third countries. We have our own seat at the WTO. We have our own FTA with China, which is called CEPA. We have our own separate legal system, which is a common law system. And I think those of you who are familiar with that will find a lot of comfort in that familiarity. Hong Kong is a free port, which means we have free movement of people, goods, capital, and information. Hong Kong has a very vibrant business environment, and the Philippines is a priority market for Hong Kong. Philippines and ASEAN are very, very important for us, ASEAN being the second largest trading partner for Hong Kong. And as Consul General just mentioned, the Philippines ranks 13th last year in 2020 in terms of trading partner with Hong Kong, just below Germany, 120 billion, and above Netherlands at 80 billion. So we are very, very strong trading partners with the Philippines. Our FTA with ASEAN has come into full effect in February this year. And on the right of the screen, you see our Minister, Edward Yao. Earlier in June, actually, this year, he was talking about the strength of the Hong Kong-Philippines connection. And so the Philippines is an excellent market and a very strong one for us, one that we appreciate. Hong Kong has a very simple and competitive taxation system. Hong Kong has a simple taxation system in that we only tax profits only, and not income tax or GST or VAT or anything like that. There are actually two tiers to the profits tax. The first $2 million and above $2 million. The first $2 million is taxed at 8.25%, and the part above $2 million is taxed at the full rate at 16.5%, which is not very high when you compare with Singapore and China, for example, you see on the chart. Hong Kong has a very modest personal tax rate and also zero VAT, as you can see. We also have zero capital gains tax, no withholding tax, no estate duty, global taxation, or wine duty. And I think Cindy will touch on that in her talk. Most importantly for small business owners, if you actually starting your own business, losses that you make in 1 year can be carried forward indefinitely. That's a very, very important part because we only tax net profit. So if you make a loss this year, you can actually deduct that against your future earnings. And only when you reach a net positive position do we tax the net profit. Also, if you're a business owner, you should pay yourself in dividends, not in a salary. If you pay yourself as a dividend as a shareholder, then the dividend is actually not taxed. So it's 0% tax on your earnings after you pay your profits tax. Setting up a company in Hong Kong is actually very simple. All you need is to, there are actually several structures, but today, because of the time limitation, I'll just touch on the local limited company. All you need to do is choose the company name. You do a check and you make sure it doesn't clash with anything that exists already, that's too close to something that's already present. And then you can incorporate the company within 4 or 5 working days. It's very, very quick. In fact, you can also buy a company off the shelf if you're really, really in a hurry, and that can be instant. So that's available, freely available. All you need is a minimum of 1 shareholder and 1 director. And that actually can be the same person. So he or she can actually be the sole shareholder and the sole director of a company. That person must be above 18 years old and does not need to be a Hong Kong resident, although today we're talking to mostly to Hong Kong residents. But if you have friends, relatives in the Philippines, and they're interested in setting up a business in Hong Kong, they are able to do that. They don't need to be a Hong Kong resident to be owner of a Hong Kong company. The incorporation can actually be done remotely. You can actually get a service provider to do that for you. There is actually no minimum share capital requirement, but typically a company will issue $10,000 in authorized shares, and that increases the credibility of the company when they're dealing with suppliers and so on. You need a Hong Kong registered office, and emphasize a registered office, so that's just an address. You don't actually have to own a property in Hong Kong or anything like that. You can just register the office, and you need a company secretary who can be a law firm or accounting firm. In fact, the company incorporation can be done for you on your behalf by an accounting firm or law firm. I stop here. My next speaker will be Angelica, and she'll be talking about her sector, which is consumer products. Angelica, over to you. Angelica, I think, is preparing her screen. Yes, it is. Here it is. Okay, over to you, Angelica. Can you hear us? Yeah, by the way, if you have any questions, you can always type them into the chat box. We'll be looking into that constantly, and we'll be answering them as and when we speak, if appropriate, and then we'll be answering them in the Q&A session at the end. Over to you, Angelica.
Yeah, thank you. If you just could give me a few minutes just to set this up. Yeah, just let me try again. The slide is not moving.
Slide hasn't moved over.
I think you need to touch this.
Touch the content.
Yeah, we had that as well.
Cindy, would you want to go first?
Okay.
Just, yeah. Let me, sorry, just let me give me one more try again.
Yeah, I can see it. No, that's
not the one.
That's your last page.
We can share our.
I can share it from here if you want.
We can see it.
I can see it. You want me to share it from here?
We have your file.
Yeah, sure. See if it works. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me see if I can find it. This one, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I have it. Okay, let me share it. Control. Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
And then we go back to this one. Okay. So tell me when you want the next slide.
Dropping.
You go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, can you see it?
Yep. Okay. Great. Next slide, please. Yep. So from our side at Consumer Products, there will be 3 types of business model that we think Philippine companies can really benefit from the market. And those 3 business models are from e-commerce, physical retail, and also, of course, sourcing. So e-commerce, some of the latest statistics show that the basket size of Hong Kong consumers are one of the highest in Asia, on average about $2,000 per head per year. So one of the, I think this is just an average number. There's a lot of people who buy luxury goods and other products on e-commerce. And then, of course, on the retail side, Definitely, everyone comes to Hong Kong to shop. I think that's a understatement already. And actually, the rents in central business districts have gone down a bit during COVID. And some of the retailers we see are actually growing in presence. For example, companies such as Decathlon or Esleet, or some of the grocery stores, they're just keeping opening and still have queues. And the final side is sourcing, is if you're a manufacturer, especially in the textiles industry in the Philippines, maybe you're already selling to buying offices in Hong Kong. So why not have a small office here to be closer to your clients? Okay, next slide, please. So Hong Kong has managed COVID pretty well. Despite us having no tourists in 2020, you can still see we're having very robust retail sales just with the Hong Kong local consumers. The gray bar refers to total supermarket, and we're talking about 77.5 billion US dollars in sales just for the supermarket segment. And for total department stores, we're seeing about 4.6 billion US dollars. And then so what kind of retail stores are doing well? Looking at on the red bar, previous slide, please. Red bar, you see electrical goods, so good sales of home electronics, air purifiers, entertainment equipment, TVs, things like that. And then if we look at the last 3 bars to the right, all of the cosmetics sales and personal care, especially those for mass personal hygiene, those are adding up also again to about 5 billion US dollars. Next slide. Market entry models. How can you look at the Hong Kong market in a relatively fast and risk-free way? So one of the ways is to use one of the platforms in Hong Kong. Maybe Roberto is also a user of Hong Kong TV Mall. So when we type the word Philippines in Hong Kong TV Mall, we can already see, the dried mango, sardines, pineapple. But definitely, we think there's a lot more Philippine products that can be on here and will be very popular with the Hong Kong consumer. So Hong Kong TV Mall itself, just serving the Hong Kong market, has 38,000 users per day just for the Hong Kong market. And we have approximately 2.6 million households, of which 38,000 are already buying from Hong Kong TV Mall. So the other one is also a grocery platform called Store. Yeah, next slide. So for the non-food category, for example, accessories, fashion, home group, so we also have 2 other platforms that are very active here. One of them is called Pinkoi. So that's especially good if you're in fashion and accessories or crafts. We have heard they have business models which only charge a commission on sales. So some of them are even 0 listing fees. And from this platform, you can arrange the shipment directly to the consumer. So it's more of a marketing and a sales platform, and they will handle the back end for you. The other one in the Chinese language is a Tmall Hong Kong. It is an arm of Tmall, but Tmall Hong Kong just services the Hong Kong market and is not a cross-border operation. Okay, next slide. So Casey mentioned this. So in brief, there's a couple of steps that you do need to do. It is kind of, once you're ready, please talk to us at Invest Hong Kong. We'll talk you through each of the ones, because we understand for each company, there will be slight modifications and you'll have your own particular questions. So next slide, Casey, and then the next one. Okay, so we're going to talk about market entry models. So this is the slide on direct entry. Direct entry, if you look at the analysis, it means you get total control and you're much more responsive because you have your own team in Hong Kong. This can be a small setup of 1 or 2 people working in a co-work space. And a model like this can be relatively cost efficient. It's just people in the office, you and your sales team working with the consumer and having very close connections between your team in Hong Kong and with your headquarters in the Philippines. This is usually the model I recommend to companies. So next slide. We also have the other model, which is more of a showroom. So maybe you have products that you don't want to go directly B2C, but you want to first do B2B, or you want to work with channel partners such as Watson's or Manning's or some of the larger department stores. So what you could do is set up a showroom or sales and marketing, invite your buyers to come and look at your product, or maybe even share the showroom and sales and marketing with a group of other Philippine companies, and then share the cost out. It would be equally as effective. Okay, next slide. On the sourcing side, we just took one district of Hong Kong. This is called Kowloon East. And, we've plotted on this very small area the number of sourcing offices already clustered here. And you can see many of them are in fashion accessories or in sportswear. So if you are a textiles mill, if you're a producer of zippers or buttons or some maybe sport equipment or rubber, think about having a showroom or a customer office in Hong Kong. And then you can be visiting these sales offices directly, even just in this cluster, and being very close to your consumers. Okay, next slide. So does every business function need to be in Hong Kong? Certainly not. So when we're talking about Albacartes from Brazil, they are using a retail partner to manage their retail operations, but the sales and the marketing side is handled regionally from Hong Kong with the regional hub, and especially their e-commerce stores or their social media marketing is also done from a base in Hong Kong. So it is a regional operation. So when we think about what functions to put in Hong Kong, especially if you're in sourcing or sales and marketing, think about brain function. Brain functions work very well in Hong Kong. Okay, next slide. So once you're set up in Hong Kong, what else can you do? So we're in very close proximity to cities such as Macau, Taipei, and Shenzhen. Once the borders open again, these are very easy to access, and many companies will manage their regional operations just from these cities, from a base in Hong Kong, and send teams over to manage these operations. So Macau is about 600,000 inhabitants. It's about 45 minutes away by ferry, and this Don Don Donki store is going to be opening three stores over there, and you can see it just opened and you can already see the queues. Okay, next slide. So on regional products, we already have one company in Hong Kong that is selling a lot of Thai products, skincare, spa, food, potato chips in various flavors, very small stores. This is the store nearest to our office. You can see it's just about 100 or 200 square feet, densely packed, but it always has queues. So I think this is also a model that Philippine companies can consider about grouping together, bringing some regional products. And as you can see, it's very popular with the Hong Kong shoppers. Okay, next slide. And then this one, the brand is from Singapore. It's a gold jewelry store. Their target are Southeast Asians living in Hong Kong. Business has been good, and they have 3 stores already in the Central Business District. Okay, last slide. So how about things like textiles and that? Yes, so this is a portable garment-to-garment circular economy location where you can bring your old sweaters and they'll knit a new one for you. So Hong Kong has several R&D centers. This one is specific for textiles and apparel. And if you can see from the gray box, just for this particular funding, the Hong Kong government gave over 5 million for textiles R&D. So if you're also thinking about doing R&D, Hong Kong is a good place for you to consider. So it's not only for retail sourcing or e-commerce, but related aspects in e-commerce or in R&D, we have a good place in Hong Kong as well. So that's the last slide for me. So Cindy, if you'd like to set up your slides. Cindy will be talking a lot about the F&B industry and also about opportunities in the Greater Bay Area, which is just about 1 hour living circle from Hong Kong. So for one of the key points while Cindy is setting up is the Greater Bay Area. We're talking about 80 million residents. So it's a very sizable operation. So Cindy, over to you.
Okay, hello, good afternoon. Thank you, Consul General, and also thank you, Roberto, for organizing this webinar so that we can share with our fellow Filipinos in Hong Kong about how to set up in Hong Kong. Bear in mind, this is just a doing business in Hong Kong 1.0. So we will share with you a lot of basic information and also about the market trends. If you have questions, just feel free to contact us, because we believe every company, every setup, every entrepreneur, your project, your operation may be different from others. So it's important that you talk to us and understand the regulations and the costing behind. So let me start with our food in Hong Kong. I will talk about the food and beverage trend first, and then I will go into more details of the licensing requirements and also GBA overview. Lastly, I will share with you our case study. First of all, food is very important in Hong Kong, of course. We love the Filipino adobo, personally. And I love your snacks, different kind of snacks, not just dry mango, but also the pig skin, which is my favorite. Hong Kong, we got huge consumer market. Locally, we have 7.5 million population, but in the GBA area, we're talking about more than 10 times. 86 million population in the area. And for Hong Kong, we have 3.9 million labor force in Hong Kong. So a lot of consumer, a lot of spenders. In terms of the restaurant side, the restaurant business, we have close to 16,000 restaurants in Hong Kong. So it's almost one restaurant for every 400 people. And in terms of the restaurant, you know, the range, we have 69 Michelin star restaurants in Hong Kong. But within the Michelin stars, actually, we have a wide range. Some of them are more local eateries. Some of them are fine dining in hotels. So we have a wide range of restaurants. In Hong Kong, we have the 11 out of 50 best restaurants in Asia this year as well. So it's just to show you that we have a very vibrant, you know, scene for the F&B, and we have a lot of mouths to feed. I will go through some of the trends. Actually, Angelica mentioned about the e-commerce side. Because of COVID, I think, you know, our lifestyle will all changed. Nowadays, online delivery business becomes a very important income stream for restaurants, and also more companies are focusing on collaboration of meal delivery. Actually, it's not just meal delivery, but also even for Food Panda, they're expanding into Panda Mart for grocery delivery, and also Hong Kong TV Mall. You can see, you know, the lorries, the trucks everywhere in Hong Kong already. So if you are thinking about setting up a business in Hong Kong, you cannot forget about the online shopping and the e-commerce. And you have to invest into this part. It's not a cost, actually, it's an investment. So in terms of budget, you need to spare, you know, some advertising or some marketing budget for this online business already. Angelica briefly tell you that actually rents already dropped to a new low. You can see, actually, we will share this PowerPoint with you later. If you want, you can, you know, look at it in more details. For different like prime shopping malls and also high street shops. Some of them, the rental drops by half already. But we can see that actually it's stable down already. And some clients told me, but this is a good time to go in because they can negotiate with the landlord with a longer lease. In the past, a retail lease in Hong Kong normally is 3 years and maybe 3 + 3. But nowadays, I heard from clients that they are able to negotiate a longer lease. Some of them can even negotiate a 10 years lease, which means, your investment, your capital investment, your renovation into, the restaurant, in a retail shop, you can depreciate, in a longer period of time. And then for the next thing about the restaurant side, a lot of focus nowadays is on takeaway business already. In the past, it's 80% dine-in, 20% takeaway. But nowadays, according to the recent survey, is 60-40. 60% dine-in, 40% takeaway already. So if you are doing a new business, actually, you have to focus more on the takeaway side and modify easier menu items for food delivery, but also cannot compromise on the food quality because after all, Hong Kong people, local consumers, we are quite demanding. And in terms of a setup, we can see that there are more cloud kitchens setting up in Hong Kong. This is a good way to minimize production costs and also the investment. We are helping a few cloud kitchens set up recently in Hong Kong. So contact us if you need contact or information of this cloud kitchen. Normally a cloud kitchen, it will be in a CBD area, like for example, in Sai Ying Pun or even in Wan Chai, while you will have like 20 cook stations for different brand names to cook together. And then it's under one license. The cloud kitchen will organize a license. All you need to do is put in your staff and then arrange, the ingredients, the menus, and then the cloud kitchen will be responsible, to do the marketing and also for the delivery. So it's a one-stop service and also a new trend for Hong Kong. Small is always the new big nowadays, and the size can be small as 200 to 300 square feet to serve mainly the locals, and it will be a good opportunity for entrepreneurs and also chef owners to test out new concept. And this is also a smaller size. Also, the operation can be simpler and you can hire fewer staff. It will be easier for companies to replicate for a franchise model. And that's why you can see from COVID, actually, we can see more pizza delivery, pasta, coffee shop, or even grocery shops, and also some like frozen meat, retail shops opening in Hong Kong. So after the trends, I will share, how is the Hong Kong market, looking for entrepreneurs or for business in Hong Kong in terms of food. Hong Kong, we import 95% of food into this city. And you can see, the bottom part of this chart. Over 70% of these food import are raw materials, are ingredients. So there is huge potential, if you are also in the agricultural business as well, and for food trading as well. There can be different models to enter the Hong Kong market, like Consul General said before, of course, food expo is very important. It's a good way for you to see, to test out the market, to understand, the market, to meet with industry people, to meet with partners, and also get connected with the contacts in Hong Kong. So attend trade fair is one thing. Second is, when you have done the market research, you are ready to set up, you can set up your own market office and then sell online directly. Or of course, you can set up your own retail and your own restaurant, directly. Third way will be to sell through distributor or find a franchisee, which we can also try to do the business matching for you as well. So different models will serve different company setup. So for this, I think you better, consult with Invest Hong Kong team so that we can give you more information about all of these different ways to set up. Let me talk a little bit about the licensing first. For food and beverage trading, all you need to do is register as a food importer or a food distributor if you are targeting to import the goods by yourself. Only basic information is needed, like business address, contact person, and types of food to be imported or distributed. You need to submit a photocopy or ID card or business BR of the company, and approval will be done in 7 working days, and the fee is only Hong Kong dollar 195 for 3 years. The whole process, the food trading side is more straightforward. It can be set up in 2 weeks, including your set up of the office and getting the registration as a food importer. But for Hong Kong, be aware that there are some items, if you import into Hong Kong, specific license will be required. First is rice. Rice is a strategic commodity in Hong Kong. Egg, meat, raw meat, ice cream, milk, and also spirit. Spirit means alcoholic content. Coverage, beverage with over 30% of alcoholic content. You need to get a pre-approval of license from maybe FHD or Customer and Exercise Department or Trade and Industry Department. If you are not importing these items, you can just import them directly into Hong Kong, because in Hong Kong, we are a free trade port. We don't have duty, almost on all food items except tobacco and hard liquor. And this is the food trading part. And if you need information, please contact us. For the restaurant side, is more costly and it may take longer time. For a restaurant setup, normally it will take 9 to 12 months, including finding the right location. It's all about location. You need to find the right location for the right target audience, and then get the license from our one-stop service from FHD. You need to engage an authorized person to get the license. So the whole thing will take 9 to 12 months. And also you are encouraged to talk to us if you want to set up a restaurant or a takeaway business in Hong Kong. GBA, and I think nowadays, when we talk about doing business in Hong Kong and China, you have to think about long run. So GBA actually is Greater Bay Area. It consists of 11 cities. You can see from here the long list, and actually there are 86 million population. So relatively and increasingly wealthy population. And also one thing is very important is the transportation, is the connectivity. These 11 cities actually is within 1 hour traveling from Hong Kong. So this is a very important, initiatives from the mainland China and Hong Kong and Macau. We are a special administration region under this GBA area. And why it's so important, apart from the population, about the spending power, we also compare with other Bay Areas in the world. And actually, you can see at the bottom. The interesting thing is about the diversification of the industry, because for other Bay Areas, they are very focused on one sector, maybe technology, maybe financial, or maybe industrial. But this Greater Bay Area, with a very large land area and large population, actually we cover financial center, innovation and technology, but we also cover, logistics and manufacturing. So it's all in one area. So it will benefit, companies from all over the world to enter this area, of course, through Hong Kong. And you can see, compare the air passenger and also the air cargo and port container. This GBA area, the size actually is already bigger than the other Bay areas in terms of the air and the sea traffic already. So there's a huge potential from this area for the company. Why is it important, and what is the role of Hong Kong? First of all, monetary benefit. For a Hong Kong company, Hong Kong holding company to hold a China company, the withholding tax will be only 5% instead of 10%. And Hong Kong can also be the risk manager for this company, because you can test out your concept. With our 7.5 million population, we have a very similar eating habit and culture within this GBA area. And thirdly, it's about the marketing hub. Hong Kong has a free flow of information. We have access to both the east side and the west side of media. And then we have plenty of professional agencies and marketing channels to help you promote your product. Lastly, Hong Kong can also serve as a strategic partner, because we have plenty of financial platform like stock exchange for fundraising, and also we have a lot of well-known logistic partner for your expansion into Hong Kong, no matter it's by air or by sea. Lastly, I would like to share the case of Jollibee. I'm sure, is no stranger to anyone here. I am also a fan. It's the largest American-style fast food chain with Filipino influence dishes in the Philippines. In Hong Kong, actually, it's operated by franchise arrangement under Mega Jollibee World and another company. At the moment, they have 11 branches in Hong Kong already. We have, I think, 2 branches close to our office. And actually, originally they are planning for opening in Macau, but actually they launched already in Macau. They just opened 2 outlets in Macau already. And Jollibee, they said, we initially enter Hong Kong because of the large Filipino population in the market. However, we are now seeing that our new stores have majority local customers, with more Hong Kong locals loving our chicken joy. So they will make use of Hong Kong to enter Macau, and maybe later to other GBA area as well. The COVID actually changed a lot of our living in Hong Kong, and also the digital ecosystem affect people's business and also our lifestyle. Invest Hong Kong and PwC, Pricewaterhouse, we put together an analysis of how the accelerated digital growth and development help the food services industry in Hong Kong. So we will launch this pitch book, which will have data, will have experience, and also case study of industry experts, and also some forecasts of the future trends. So they will, it will be ready for download end of September or early October. So stay tuned. It will be on our website ready for free download if you are interested to enter Hong Kong market. Little bit of introduction of Invest Hong Kong and also our free services. Actually, we can guide you through from your planning stage, from the evaluation of the costing, understanding of the regulation, to the setup stage, like finding the right service provider for setup, or market research, and then for the launch, we will help you with some publicity and some market support. And even after you set up in Hong Kong, we will keep you updated of like the government new initiatives and also different funding scheme. So we are all here to help, and it's free services. For Invest Hong Kong, we have 9 industry teams. So Angelica and I, we are from the lifestyle and creative cluster. So we cover consumer products and also tourism and hospitality. But of course, if you are from different industry and or if your friends, they are from different industry, if they have interest to come to Hong Kong, please contact us. We have other teams like financial services, ICT, innovation and technology, transport, infrastructure, and advanced manufacturing, and also creative industry and others to help you. Invest Hong Kong, we're Gov department, and we have 31 offices overseas. They also work with a lot with their local companies to come to Hong Kong. So we have a lot of support overseas as well. If you are looking at bring in or work with some overseas brand names to come to Hong Kong, we can also be a bridge to connect you with the overseas brands, especially for the restaurant side. So this is the end of my presentation. I hope that is useful to all of you guys. And now I hand it back to Roberto for the Q&A session.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you so much, Casey, and thank you so much, Angelica, for basically it's the introduction only of like how to do business in Hong Kong. So we'll just go through a few questions that were raised by some of our overseas Filipino investors and kababayans who are interested to do business. So some of the questions that they've been asking me, Casey, maybe you can answer this. May non-Hong Kong permanent residents also open a business?
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
May non-Hong Kong permanent residents open a business in Hong Kong?
Yes, yes. Yeah. To open a business in Hong Kong, to incorporate a company, you do not need to be a resident of Hong Kong. Anyone can be a shareholder or director of a Hong Kong company.
Okay, so what another question that they usually ask me would be, those with working visas, may they also like open a business at the same time, or they're not required by law?
Yeah, if they have a...
you mean if they are on work visa?
Yes.
And they want to set up their new business?
Yes.
Oh, well, work visa, actually, they are sponsored by an employer. If they want to set up that side business, first of all, they will need to tell the employer about this idea. Second, they will need to clear the approval from the immigration department. So there's two approval is needed first, because work visa suppose is only to work under the sponsor, which is the employer.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that, Cindy. That's actually one of the major questions that's usually being asked from me. Another question basically is, as to the company secretary, must the company secretary be in Hong Kong, or may they also be located outside? The company secretary of the
company secretary
to be registered
must be based in Hong Kong. It must be a Hong Kong company secretarial service provider, or a person with the qualification as a company secretary, but must be Hong Kong.
Okay, thank you. So Angelica, as to your discussion earlier, do they need to register their company to enter the different e-commerce platforms?
Yes, we have been told that from these platforms that they do prefer working with companies that already have a Hong Kong business registration. This is also protection for both sides. It means that you have the legal entity and a limited company to be the face and to be the one signing these business contracts. It also means you have a proper corporate bank account in which you can have your expenses and also get your revenue. So we do recommend to have a proper setup and have a business-to-business contract rather than individuals selling to these platforms, which is generally not recommended.
Okay, so I think, Cindy, do you have a comment? We can't hear you. Okay.
In terms of the companies registered in Hong Kong, I want to highlight also why you have to set up a company in Hong Kong. Maybe can I share this?
Okay.
Because I think I flipped too quickly, because there are different trade fairs in Hong Kong as well. If you have a registered company in Hong Kong and then to get a booth in different trade fairs, actually with a Hong Kong company and with just one staff in Hong Kong, you can claim some of the funding scheme in Hong Kong already, like the Food Expo, and also you can look at this, the trade fairs, calendar, which just happened as a Food Expo and also the Hall Fest. Actually, we heard from the exhibitors that they can. First of all, it's very good with response, and then for Hong Kong, physical events are back to the market already. So after the book fair, we have the Food Expo. We also have different jewelry show, and then the Hall Fest and the natural and organic. To book the booth, actually, if you have a company registered in Hong Kong and with one staff, then you can claim the export marketing fund. So the good point about setting up of a company, actually you will be eligible for the funding schemes by the Hong Kong government to attend export marketing and trade shows. So bear in mind about that, the advantage when you think about entering Hong Kong as well.
Okay, so actually, Cindy, thank you so much for that information. I was also about to raise that question because a lot of our Hong Kong resident Filipinos or our kababayans who are residing here, and they do not know of the funding. So maybe you could, so just to emphasize it a bit more, so does the government have funding support for businesses, and how can they find out about this funding support? Cindy, in relation to what you just stated. Yeah.
Well, for the funding, of course, you can go to our Invest Hong Kong website. There's a tab on the funding scheme you can log into. But for food and for consumer products, one of the funding that companies always use is the export marketing fund. That is mainly for joining trade fairs and for setting up mobile application and also e-commerce for export-oriented business. Like for example, if you book a booth like from the Food Expo, you can claim each time a maximum of Hong Kong dollar 50,000. So this is a cap as 50,000, and for each company, you can claim maximum total of 800,000 for each enterprise. So it will be, good support for companies to look for, attending trade fairs in the future. That's one thing. And for others, for companies, when they're thinking about, okay, I am already in Hong Kong, I want to expand into mainland, into other ASEAN countries, or into, other like Australia, and other places. There's another fund called BUD, Branding, Upgrade, and Domestic. They are, the budget is even higher. You can, submit application, and it can go up to 6 million Hong Kong dollar for the promotion budget. So all these you can look at, from our Invest Hong Kong website under the funding scheme.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much for informing our audience about this, Cindy. So I guess I'll just have a final question for you guys. I know that our time is quite tight. So does the government allow virtual offices? Since you raised that there must be an office, right, in Hong Kong to open a business. So maybe Casey, maybe you'd be able to answer that since you started with that part.
Sorry, can you say that again? I didn't quite catch it. Sorry, Roberto.
Does the government allow virtual offices, instead of actually physically having a big office? Of course, as to virtual offices, they'd be saving more.
Sure, sure. I mean, Hong Kong is a very flexible place to do business. I mean, when you first start to come to Hong Kong, the company needs to be registered somewhere. So it can be domiciled in a service provider's office. So the registered office can be a law firm or accounting firm or service provider firm. The mode of entry we just mentioned are multiple, but you can even choose something like a business center as a temporary way of trying or testing the market. These ways, business centers can be very flexible. The rental periods can be quite short, and the size of the office can be quite small. So per square foot, it might be a little bit more than your longer term rents, but you don't need very many square feet. So that's another way of testing the market. But I think overall, the flexibility of doing in Hong Kong are multiple. And the great thing about Hong Kong is people always say that Hong Kong is expensive. We do get coverage for some quite impressive rental costs. But what we do find in Hong Kong is range. So there is some of the most expensive in the world, but also some of the very, very affordable ones too. So I would encourage people to inquire and not rule anything out. There are ways of doing things in Hong Kong which are sometimes surprisingly easy and inexpensive.
Yeah, Roberto, just to add a point on the virtual office, related also to funding and bank accounts. Firstly, the banks do not prefer companies having a virtual office. That may affect the opening of the bank account. And if it's a virtual office, they also may not be able to apply for those various funding schemes because they cannot prove they have substantial operations in Hong Kong. So noting that Cindy mentioned that some of the funding can be up to 800,000 Hong Kong dollars. Sometimes we do recommend companies to think about all the benefits they can get by having a substantial office rather than a virtual or a shell company, which may not offer the full benefits of being in Hong Kong. Yeah, just to add.
Yeah, I would also add that there is also benefits in having a physical office in terms of transfer pricing. If companies want to do trading, buying and selling of goods through Hong Kong in order to be able to enjoy the preferential tax rates in Hong Kong, it is important to have a substantial, as Angelica mentioned, a substantial presence of physical office with real people and desks and chairs and so on.
Okay, so so at this juncture, if the other questions, we'll just be sending it to you guys and for us to find out more about doing business in Hong Kong. So do you have any other comments that you would like to discuss before we end the webinar? We're all good. Okay, so I think we're all good. So now to close this webinar, the Philippine Consulate General, of course, is very thankful to Invest Hong Kong for having this brief webinar with our kababayans. We thank Cindy, Casey, and Angelica. Of course, our Consul General Raly Tejada is very thankful also to all our kababayans who participated today. We in the Philippine Consulate General thought of having this webinar because a lot of people do not know of all these different opportunities that the Hong Kong government is actually offering currently to Filipinos who are interested to do business here in Hong Kong, just like what was stated by our Secretary Ramon Lopez of the Department of Trade and Industry before, the fact that there are a lot of Filipinos here in Hong Kong. It's our Filipinos who would be the best champions of our different Filipino products. So that's why Filipinos who are interested to basically import or bring in Filipino products here in Hong Kong, whether it be food, beverage, jewelry, or whatnot. This is the best platform for you guys to find out about this fact. So, of course, if you have specific topics that you would like to discuss in the future, we'd be happy to tap again Invest Hong Kong for us to do another webinar on that. We hope that our kababayans took this opportunity to learn more about all these possibilities here in Hong Kong. We hope that you, our kababayans, do not hesitate to ask any questions. If you have something in mind in relation to business, please ask the Philippine Consulate General here in Hong Kong. I hope that our kababayans now see that the Hong Kong market is actually a very diverse market that does not only basically cover our OFIs, but also the Hong Kongers and the foreigners who are located here who are also very interested to get a taste of our Filipino products. So with that, of course, we would like to inform our kababayans that next month we'll be having a webinar as to trade and Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. This is on October 21, 2021. From 9 to 10 a.m. If you want to join us, our speaker there will be the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Trade and Industry, Attorney Alan B. Gepke, and the Director General of Trade and Industry, Mr. Brian Law. So again, thank you so much to our speakers and of course our Consul General, Raly Tejada, for joining us today. Thank you so much and have a good day. Goodbye.